Alex, is Graham Potter going to get sacked? I think that's a common question I've been asked consistently since basically the season stopped. No, he's not. And Chelsea once again, actively with their actions, not with their words, have definitively gave him public backing. And this has come in two forms. Number one, with potentially player signings that are actively being fed to the media. And number two, with new developments and more hires from Brighton. Let's get into it. It's a big video today. We're breaking it down. Welcome to the Kavkas View, guys, and I hope you guys are ready for a great video, because in today's video we will be breaking up the latest developments. The World Cup is here, but no need to fear, because Chelsea will always be feeding us news this year. I should be writing bars because that was amazing. Applause it. So if you enjoyed that, and even if you didn't, hit the like button. We're aiming for 1,000 likes. If you appreciate I'm here consistently delivering you free content, even through the World Cup run-in, where I will be covering the World Cup, hit that subscribe button, and in the pinned comment is my Instagram. Go follow me there, and I'll be putting up a lot of stories and interacting with people while the World Cup is on, because I love the World Cup. It's my favorite thing since I've been a kid, and talking to people about football is what I love to do. So without further ado, let's get on with the video. There's a lot of news to cover today. Todd Boehly and the crew have been busy once again, and a lot of people said, look, they're gonna sack Potter. I don't see it. I really don't. I think no matter how bad it gets, they're going to love him. And this came out in numerous ways. So number one, Neil Bath, who is the academy graduate developer, basically. He was there signing young players under Marina and everyone. He has become promoted, and promoted to a level of director. Director in these global corporations essentially is someone that's very high up. There are numerous directors, so it's not like he's the top dog. In these fancy companies, you usually have titles like assistant vice president, director. And this is higher up you get up the chain, the more fancy the title becomes. And in this case, director essentially says he has a lot of influence on what is going to happen. So Neil Bath is going to have a lot of influence on the players that are coming into Chelsea because of his scouting. And it's not going to be for youth team level. It's going to be for first team level. He will have a good input. When Todd Boehly first took over, he was actually shocked that the communication from the youth team to the first team was minimal. He actually didn't understand that they didn't talk to each other consistently. Tuchel had no idea what was consistently happening in the youth team. The youth team had no clear pathway to talk to the first team manager. They thought this was a problem and they're trying to solve it. Another way that they're trying to solve our recruitment is by hiring an individual called Paul from Brighton. Once again, the 6th member of staff from Brighton Chelsea have poached. First it was the manager, then it was 4 backroom staff, and now it's another director. And this is interesting because this guy's title is very fancy. He's Global Transfers and Talent Acquisition Manager. That is a mouthful. This means he's going to be there to ensure, number one, we're signing players, and number two, we're making sure that they develop as planned. You don't do all of this. You don't go and get Potter signing and then get rid of Potter, because this essentially is backing Potter properly. This essentially is building a framework under which Potter's going to be working under and be happy under. But they also came out verbally to the newspapers, because this is getting fed to them, and backed Potter. So the newspapers are coming out with stories, and they're coming out with reiterating stories of how much Todd Boehly and the consortium love Graham Potter. They believe he's the right manager, and they believe that there are numerous factors to why results have went badly. Number one, when results were great in the first 6 games, they were purring, they were happy, they were smiling, they were patting themselves on the back, and they were happy with the man they brought in because they believe he was doing a great job. Which, in essence, when you're getting results, you are doing a great job, right? They believe that this blip is happening for 2 reasons. Number one, the climate of which the games are consistently coming, so we can't actually have coaching to develop these players and build up a style of play, so it's game after game after game. And number two, the bigger reason, there's just so many injuries to key players. N'Golo Kante, Wesley Fofana, Kalidou Koulibaly's been injured, Reece James has been injured, and all of this has contributed to negative results. I believe these are actually very strong points, and it shows rationale from the board. I'm frustrated that there is no signs of play. I'm not saying Potter's a bad manager. Never get that twisted. I think Potter's a very good man. And finally, the biggest reason they've been so excited about Potter is because they're actively seeing something that Tuchel wasn't doing in their eyes. They're seeing promotion of the youth. And a lot of you are going to say, how, Alex? How are they seeing it? Well, guys, look at it this way, right? Trevor Chalobah is now a sample of the tears. Under Tuchel, this season, he wasn't going to be used consistently. Brozier is getting regular starts or regular minutes. You've got Omari Hutchinson on the bench. You've got Chukwuemeka, who was playing. And you additionally had Lewis Hall, who's an 18-year-old, starting back-to-back games against Manchester City and Newcastle. So the pathway for the youth is there. Conor Gallagher, Mason Mount, consistently starting. Kai Havertz, consistently starting. Young players that Boehly wants to build a team around in the future, getting opportunities to prove themselves. This is foreshadowing things to come. It means that we are going to sign younger players. We aren't going to be actively going after these individual players that are costing multi-million pounds, in the sense that we're not going to go and sign a £100 million player, 150. We're going to be aiming in the bracket below. 60 million, talent with potential to become better, with Potter developing him in their system. Sounds interesting, but results will be tough to come initially, in my opinion. What is evident is that Chelsea are going to be busy this January. They're already feeding the newspapers with these stories, and it's interesting because 3 players have been consistently linked with Chelsea, and it's making me feel a little bit uneasy. So number 1, Nkunku from Leipzig. A very good player. We already know what he's like, right? Direct, very good in behind the striker, links up play well, very good at accelerating and running with the ball in possession, decent weight of pass. I worry about his frame, but I think that's something you can work on, in the sense that we can put some muscle on him and he'll just adapt with the Premier League and develop. He gets goals and assists in Germany, but that's as far as I could go, because I haven't seen enough of him to say he's going to come in and be a success. But everyone that is in the know speaks about this man highly. So what is getting reported? Graham Boehly is reporting that Chelsea are trying to get this move done as soon as possible. They are actually looking for a way to bring Nkunku to the club in January. The deal that Fabrizio's talking about, that's already agreed to bring him in, is in the summer. It's going to be interesting how this works out. Chelsea might even pay more money, most probably, because they've done it before, just to bring the player in now to make sure they get ahead of the curve. That is an interesting way to look at it. Number 2, and this one actually might worry a lot of you, because one thing I don't understand is you acquire all this talent, right? You acquire all this potential squad acquisition talent, like people coming out with their binoculars like, oh, he's a good player over there, Gaffer. Oh, he's a great player over there, mate. Oh, he's a great player over there, geezer. And all of a sudden, you're just going back to Potter's old club. They're linking us with Sanchez, the goalkeeper, the Spanish international. And my question here is, Sanchez is a decent goalkeeper, right? But he's gonna cost a fortune. So why on earth are we doing it? Like, if the whole ploy of us getting all these scouts in, aren't we meant to find the next Sanchez? Like, Brighton bought Sanchez for like, what, 5-10 million? They bought Cucurella for what, 4-5 million? They sold us Cucurella for 63 million. And what's gonna happen when we go after Sanchez? They're gonna ask for Boehly. They're gonna ask for a lot of money. They're gonna ask for change that he's not worth. And then there's Trossard. We're linked with Trossard again. Trossard is a free agent in the summer, and after the World Cup, I guarantee you he's going to be pushing for a move, because Trossard, in my opinion, is too good for Brighton and Hove Albion. I don't think Brighton is a top 8 team the way they're currently showing themselves. I think they will regress to the mean eventually, and the season will plateau like everyone out. Everyone will go back to their natural state, right? And stop developing. So after a while, there's only so much Brighton can keep winning, in my personal opinion. So Trossard will have to move on, because he's not signing a new deal. Apparently, Chelsea want him. And my question here is Trossard the player that we need in the long term? Like, he's 28 years old, 27 years old. I thought he was a lot younger than that. Is he worth the investment? Because what I don't want to happen is Chelsea pay 50 million for Sanchez, we bring him in, and that price tag's too heavy. I know a lot of you are going to say, Alex, price tag doesn't matter. It's all about the quality of the player. But it does matter, because Cucurella is a good player, but people are only getting at him now because he costs 63 million pounds, so they want a world beater, which is understandable. Ben Chilwell is a decent player, but I get at him the same reason. I think if you're paying 50 million pounds, I want someone world class. I don't want basic Ben. Same happened with Romelu Lukaku. Any other striker comes in for 30 million pounds, gets us 15 goals in all comps, people will be happy, right? But because we spent 100 million, the expectations are higher. So how can we go and sign Sanchez to come in and replace Edouard Mendy, who's uneasy right now and wants to potentially leave the club? The acquisition we're doing is from Brighton. It makes no sense. whilst these players are all good and most probably going to improve us in the short term, I really want these lot to start earning their money and start scouting wider and far out. Getting us unknown talents, getting us talents that are going to come in, raise the portfolio of the club, and then we're going to be like, you know what, great job. These directors are earning their money. But this was the Kavkas View. I hope you lot enjoyed this. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Let me know your thoughts. And let me know in the comments below as well, who do you think is going to win the World Cup? I think it's Brazil. I want to hear yours. Peace out. I'm out. Have a nice